Marwan, interesting interview there with Jared Kushner. Another point that he made was that the Palestinians had been lied to for a long time, and that's why their expectations were just too high. And here he is saying, this is achievable. And he talks about a future Palestinian state. From what you've seen of the deal, what would this future Palestinian state that Jared Kushner is talking about actually look like?
Generally speaking, we say the devil is in the details. In this case, the devil is, in fact, in the headlines. And the headline is, as just been mentioned by Jared Kushner, which is kind of amazing when you think of it. Here you have the author of a peace deal who is, by definition, a fanatic Zionist supporter of the illegal Israeli settlement. And yet he projects himself as some kind of a mediator who has the Palestinians' best interest in mind. It is surrealistic in every possible way, obnoxious in every possible term. But be that as it may, what he just described, the bypass roads and the tunnels and all of that, that is the definition of apartheid. That is apartheid. That's what we had when we divided the Palestinian territories, the occupied territories, into A, B, C, and H1 and H2, and Israel created bypass roads, and they created an industrial zones for the Israelis where Palestinian cheap labor will work. These are Bandustan's. He's recreating the South African model of apartheid in Palestine and calling it a state. There is no state, because already Prime Minister Netanyahu is and has declared at the White House that he will be annexing much of Area C, which means all of the areas that include the settlements, plus the Jordan River. That in and by itself, almost half of the West Bank. And that's done today with the blessing of the American president. Now, you say that they've been lied to. Of course, the Palestinians have been made promise after promise after promise since 1991. And most of the promises did not come through. So we all remember everything from the Carter plan to the Reagan plan to the Clinton plan to the George Bush plan and roadmap and so on and so forth. But yes, none of them come through. And that's why the Palestinians, when they look at the Trump plan, they think its destiny is the same like the Bush plan and the Reagan plan. And that is the dustbin of history. I mean, who remembers the Bush plan? Who remembers the Reagan plan? Who will remember the Trump plan 3-4 years down the road? That doesn't mean the situation is getting any better for the Palestinians.
Yeah, in a way, though, we have seen a difference, because I believe it's about 2 years, isn't it, since the move of the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem from Tel Aviv, that the Palestinians have actually backed away, not seeing the U.S. as even trying to be impartial in the issue. So if the U.S. is no longer a partial arbiter in this, then who do you think at this moment from the international community could come up, should come up to, I guess, make their voices heard and perhaps help find a different kind of solution than the one on the plate from the Americans?
Well, the short answer is no one, because the United States already made it its exclusive area of influence and authority. No one is allowed in the world, including Russia, Europe, China, or whoever, is allowed to intervene in Israel-Palestine except the United States. But just to emphasize that point about being a fair or not fair sponsor of the talks and so on and so forth. Look, the Americans were never fair mediators between Israelis and Palestinians. Israel and America are best allies. They have the most special of all special relationships, and they've never denied it. The United States always stood behind Israel, supported Israel. And in fact, as one of the American negotiators put it, the United States was always Israel's lawyer in the negotiations with the Palestinians. But at least it gave appearance of talking to the Palestinians, engaging the Palestinians, listening to the Palestinians. But this Trump administration has basically wrote off the Palestinians, imposed unilateral measures on the Palestinians and in Palestine and in Jerusalem and in as far as the settlement is concerned with zero consultants with the Palestinians. The Trump administration is simply imposing one diktat after another diktat, including, lest anyone forgets, the closure of the PLO office in Washington, cutting aid to UNRWA, cutting aid to the Palestinians, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, and so on and so forth, without any consultation with the Palestinians. And now we have all just seen the celebration at the White House. The bride, the bride's father, the dowry, everything is ready, except there is no groom. The Palestinians are not invited. The Palestinians are not consulted. The Palestinians don't want to have anything to do with this wedding, with this celebration, because their entire existence as people, as sovereignty, as independence, as statehood, as refugees has been dismissed by the Trump administration.
Marwan Bishara, senior political analyst. Marwan will, of course, cross back to you for more analysis. For the moment, thank you.